Alright, aloha.
Aloha.
Okay, so what I'm going to do to start out the class is I'm going to hand you these envelopes and you can work in pairs. Each of these envelopes, there are characteristics of an ineffective teacher and an effective teacher. So what I want you to do with your pairs is I want each and every one of you to come up. Maybe one can do effective while the other one does ineffective, and just place them in the categories. You guys can use these magnets too. I'll give you about 2 to 3 minutes to just get them up here.
Wani is complaining. This is hard. What's the busy work? Yeah. Because busy work is work that doesn't actually help them learn. It just gives them something.
Whenever you're ready, you guys can come up and put them up.
Yeah.
Alright, so with all these characteristics up here, maybe each one of you can pick out a certain characteristic on ineffective and share a time where maybe your teacher lacked classroom management or was boring. He expected others to do things for them. So each one of you just pick one certain characteristic and then think of a time where you did.
Or we're just going to share right
Yeah,
now?
just share right here. That's what I meant.
Are sharing with our partners or from class?
You can share with your partners, and then I'll just have one partner from each one just share.
Okay, when was the teacher most boring? Can you give an experience?
My last year college, I was a single teacher. It's like she doesn't really care about things. And whenever she teaches, she just wants to get things done. Some high school, you don't have to really go on. They tell me to learn before it's like the church school. I've been here for 2 years. How about you?
I chose exceptional classroom management. Sorry?
Oh, you can choose anything?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you can choose any characteristic.
Okay, so I was an exceptional classroom manager. I had a 7th grade, maybe she was 8th grade math teacher. And she was just an incredible classroom manager. She had charts for all of her classrooms, and they would time like passing in papers. So you try to pass in your papers the fastest, and she'd keep track of it all. And she had just a system for everything. She made us use a ruler every time we drew a line. Like, she was very clear on exactly what she wanted. And everybody did it. And it was an incredibly organized classroom. And we got a lot done. We did a ton of learning.
Alright, so from this group, let's do ineffective. When was a time that your teacher was ineffective?
I share one experience. I had a teacher in high school. Like, she just wanted to get things done, and everybody, when they go there, it's just like say, "Oh, sleep class."
Right? So that must have been a really boring class. I've had teachers like that too. And what about you guys? Effective teacher?
We only talk about
Ineffective? Okay, so share an ineffective teacher.
so like Mary had a teacher back in high school. She taught Chinese, but she has
So the importance of this is the ineffective teacher, obviously, they don't help the student achieve themselves. They don't help them improve. Whereas the effective teacher, they do all they can to help the student achieve and to close the student gap achievement. So that's what this is on, is how to close the student achievement gap and the importance of effective teachers. And I know we went over it with Lorraine's PowerPoint, but we're gonna do like the differences and stuff like that. So our outcomes today are: learners identify that the effectiveness of the teacher determines the level of student achievement. Learners analyze the difference between an effective and an ineffective teachers, and learners explain how the achievement gap can be closed. So to help you guys are free to take any notes on this. Just take one and pass it. So this is a chart, and it explains the percentile of an ineffective teacher in an ineffective school, or effective teacher in ineffective school. So as you can see, ineffective school and ineffective teacher, the percent is only 30, so that's not very high, which is unfortunate. Whereas an effective school and ineffective teacher is in the 37th, so we're almost there. Ineffective school and effective teacher, 63rd, that's almost there. It's still good to have an effective teacher in an ineffective school because they're still trying to maintain the student achievement and to get the school and the students where they need to be in the state or wherever they're at. We have effective school and average teacher in 78, and then the most important one, effective school and effective teacher in 96. So our goal is to be maybe not an effective school, but an effective teacher. So how to improve student achievement? We'll talk about the difference of the ineffective teacher for this topic. So they affect a little. So they don't really care for improving their students. Like this one, they just work for the paycheck. They're not really there to be motivators or anything like that. It makes students fall behind, meaning they don't even really help the student learn. They're just reading straight from the book. They don't really have lesson plans to help them move on. They show unimprovement, so this means the student shows unimprovement, meaning that their tests are still really low, they don't help them achieve and to close that gap. They kind of look like this frog. I don't know what I'm doing. Whereas the effective teacher keeps the focus on learning. They're motivators. They help the students want to learn. They're good role models, and they learn along with the students. They maintain certain attitudes, so they leave their personal business at home while when they come to school, they're really focused on the teacher. They maintain a positive attitude to help them succeed. And they're persistent. They don't stop, they don't give up on students. They want to help them do all they can do. And the last one is they celebrate accomplishments. How many of you, when you did something really good and you saw when you're in elementary school, like your teacher put like a smiley face or something, like a good job? Didn't that make you feel good? Right? So we want to be like this. We want to be happy. We want to succeed and have our teacher and everyone around us be proud of us. So I want you to take a look at this picture real quick. I'm just going to ask you, what is the issue with this picture? It's not fair, right?
Yeah.
Like, how is an elephant going to climb a tree?
Or
Like
a fish.
Or a fish, right? So obviously this is, what kind of teacher is this? Ineffective. So now we're gonna analyze the ineffective. So they're unprepared. Like that video that we watched in class the other day where that teacher took like 9 minutes to teach the solar system and he had like no idea what to talk about. So unprepared, that's kind of irritating too. Why would you want to sit in like our class with a teacher who's unprepared? They expect students to learn the same way, like that picture. They expect students to get the same scores or to just act the same way, whereas in a real life situation, you're going to have students who are completely different from one another. They use negative attitudes. They, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Kind of like sarcasm, you know, well, why are you doing it this way when I told you to do it this way? You're wrong. And doesn't think he or she should make mistakes. Have you ever had a teacher where they thought that he was always right, you could never say anything wrong? Hmm? Yeah? I've had my math teacher in high school was like that. So I'm going to show you a clip from this video by Rita Pearson. She's really good. She has like a long line of teaching in her family. So like her mom was one, her grandma, she's a teacher, her great grandma. So she's going to explain or talk a little bit about when ineffective teachers are in the classroom.
I have spent my
One sec. Let me find it.
My lord.
Sorry. What's this? We'll just watch it later. So in this part, as you can see, she explains that an ineffective teacher, why be one? Because if you are an ineffective teacher, you're just going to have a long year and it's going to be tough for you. So we'll move on to the effective teacher. They analyze, they make sure that they really know their students well. They analyze how they learn, how they, when they sit next to each other, if that affects them or not. They create materials to help learn, so they make the lesson fun. They have activities for their students. They steal. So when I say steal, they steal lessons from the best. So like they can steal lessons from other teachers. I guess you could say borrow. Make it sound better. But they borrow to help make their classroom fun. They adapt. They know how to adapt to certain situations where maybe a student is having a really rough day. They know how to make it better, to move on and to get their students to accommodate with them. And they the effective teacher learns along with the students. So they're not afraid to make mistakes. They know how to learn. They know how to learn from their students. So hopefully, there's another part in this video where she talks about a student in her class, and she gave out a spelling test or some type of quiz. I think it's gonna work. So from what she said, how was she an effective teacher?
Smile face.
Yes.
Smiley face,
She
right?
had a positive attitude and helps students have a positive attitude as well.
Right,
He
exactly.
just, she doesn't just focus on the bad part of the student, but
Mhm.
finding the thing that they do well.
Yeah.
She encouraged you.
Encouraged, right? Because I mean, I know I've done pretty bad on some tests. And if I had a teacher like that who told me, you know, +2, I would feel pretty good. I mean, it wouldn't ruin my day too bad. So as teachers, what do we want? So this is going to be a multiple choice quiz. Do we want good programs, a nice big paycheck, success, or all of the above? So if you think it's A, raise your hand. If you think it's B, raise your hand. If you think it's C, raise your hand. And if you think it's D, all of the above.
B and
So,
C.
Yeah, it could be.
as teachers, we want success. So if I can have, Pila, why don't you read this quote right here?
The problem in our schools is not the teachers. The success of our school is because of our teachers and some very effective principals.
So what do you think that means?
Mean not all the school will be successful is with the teacher.
Right, exactly. So, fill in the blanks. To close the student achievement gap, we need to be,
Effective teachers.
and to be,
Effective teachers.
we must use scoring guides to prepare students. So I think this is a good way to prepare our students. Like Tori showed in the video, he had assignments ready on the first day of school. That sets a good expectation and knows, and the students know what they're supposed to do in that classroom. Have general classroom procedures. I think if you do have general classroom procedures, it kind of makes the flow of the classroom go a little well. Know the needs of our students. So that was kind of in the last slide. You know what your students need to achieve on. Know what they need to learn to be better in their classroom. Give students the opportunity to experience success. So like in that video, you got -18. She wanted that student to feel good, so she put +2, I mean, that would still be a little bit of success, but I think it slowly works out. Use discipline when necessary. I think it's a good idea to discipline. You don't want to be that teacher, like Tori said. You don't want to be the funny teacher all the time. You need to know when to use discipline. And as a teacher, an effective teacher, you should be confident in what you're learning. So the word teacher, what do you think the word teacher means? We'll just take some suggestions. Whoever wants to answer, you guys can. It's up to you.
Teacher is one who imparts knowledge.
But you, Celeste, what do you think the word teacher means?
You can help students to do their best. Yeah, if not, teacher will help them to make that achievement.
And Pila, what do you think it takes to be a teacher?
Do you think it takes to be a teacher?
What do you think?
I think they be willing to learn and improve.
Right?
Positive attitude.
Good idea. What about you?
Please, patient.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's what I was going to say. So, did you know teachers can be poets, physicists, composers, architects, gymnasts, diplomats, and philosophers?
What gymnasy?
So they do like the flips and stuff like that, on the bars and stuff like that. So if I can have, let's do Lorraine, can you read this word here? You guys just listen for a second.
Teacher, you are
This one, right here.
your subject. You create a class and bring. It's so
Mosaic. Yeah, mosaic is like a collage when you put all of the different things together and it makes one picture.
Of velocities to imagine sequence to unfold connections only to begin the cycle of learning.
Then I'll just read one. It's the architect. Teacher, you are an architect as you provide each student a solid foundation, but always with the vision of the magnificent structure that is about to emerge. So I thought these were pretty cool. I mean, I always thought a teacher is someone who just, teach kids. That's what you do. But I mean, to be all of these, I mean, that's a pretty big task. Not a lot of people think that teachers can be these things. So we are teachers. What we do is a miracle. And it is possible for all of us to be effective. It's possible to be effective teachers. And it may take a while to get there, but if we have those expectations, we set those expectations for us, then we can be those. For us to be effective teachers, education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. So we need to spark the students. We need to get them interested in learning and make learning fun for them. So as a closure, we have 5 more minutes left. Write down one or more ways you are going to be an effective teacher in your future classrooms.
On this paper?
Yeah, sure. And after that, just how will it close the student achievement gap? And with that, you just draw a little picture. When you're done, I just want to hear from each of you what you wrote down for what you're going to use in your future classroom. So for you, Bob. Celeste. So you can go after Celeste. Okay.
Okay, so I wrote always give positive comments because we can steal from that so that they can keep improving so that it will close the student achievement gap.
Philip?
Just say different, like in college, students that didn't do good on some exam, and also have a organized planning each day.
Right.
So the student can achieve what you expect them to.
Exactly. So make those, to close the student achievement gap, we should make it possible for the students, right? Maureen?
I'm kind of like the same as Celeste. I will stay positive on their performance and give encouraging comments.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's a good idea. And then
I
Tori?
wrote the same thing.
Yeah.
It makes such a big impression,
Yeah.
right? But she's like, let's do it, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be like that. So that's what I wrote down.
So
Yeah.
thank you.
Smiley face.
Well, like I said, I mean, it's possible for all of us to be effective teachers. We just need to have that positivity in ourselves that we can do it. And that's it. Good job.
Hey Tori, did you, were you able to upload your
No.
video?
I need to